Hi, what's up? Welcome back to the internet. If you know me, you know that I love a list. I love a list. I also hate that phrase when people say, if you know me, you know blah blah blah. So I'm not really sure why I said that, but anyways, I found a list on my phone that I wrote pretty much a year ago. It's from July 15th, 2023. It's July 9th right now. Called Things I've Learned, which I love. These kind of lists specifically. I'm constantly writing down little lessons. Why? I don't know, because I'm annoying, I guess. But I haven't read through it yet. I just found it, so I thought we would read it together and see what we think. The the subtitle, so it says Things I've Learned, subtitle, Thoughts from a 20-something Nobody, which is a bit harsh. First thing I said, you can't control how other people behave, only how you react. Yeah, I guess. Feels pretty obvious, but anyways. Next one, always do your best because it only reflects poorly on you if you don't. This I stand by. I feel like it's easy to be like, well, I don't really give a shit about XYZ, so like I'm not gonna put any effort into it, but at the same time, like that only reflects on you, not on the situation at hand. Like, I don't know, it's kind of true, kind of not. And my next point is don't expect yourself to give 100% when you're not feeling 100%. This one is so fucking accurate. I feel like I've burned myself out so many times for thinking that I have to give my all to something when I don't even have my all in me. You know? We all do that. Oof. If you can tell you're not being a good friend, step back. That's fair. I would love to know what I was talking about, but it's fair. No one is the bad guy in their version of the story. I think that's very true, and it's very important. You know, sometimes there is, like, definitely a clear cut bad guy, but sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's nuance to life. So deep, right? Anyways, you can have all the information and still make the wrong choice. Doesn't that just fucking stress you out? Why would I write that down? Like, yes, but God. Um, Basically, I think I was trying to say there's no, like, you just have to decide because there's, even with all the information, it could still go badly. So you just have to fucking go forward and see what happens. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. What are you gonna do? When you're consuming content, it's your job to use critical thinking and decide whether or not to be influenced. This is so fucking true. See, the amount of times I've been like, oh my god, did you know this? And then my boyfriend will be like, where did you hear that? And I'll be like, on TikTok. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, hold on. And then we'll like look it up and I'm like, oh yeah. Um, you know, you gotta consider the source. And TikToks aren't always wrong. Sometimes they're right. And sometimes you can learn shit on there, but don't just take everything you read or see online as the truth. Because you know how annoying it is when other people do that? You know how annoying it is when someone's like, oh yeah, I saw this like reel and it changed my life and everything is true in that thing. And then you watch it and you're like, babe, that doesn't even make any sense. So don't be that person. It's easy to be. It's easy to be. Anyways. Cleaning your house before you go on a trip is one of the nicest things you can do for yourself. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. There's absolutely nothing better than coming home from a trip to a clean space. There's absolutely nothing worse than coming home from a trip to a messy space. Relatively speaking, obviously there's worse things. If you find yourself competing in the who has it worse game, you've lost your way. Misery is not the goal. You don't want to win that game. I mean, yeah, you know, when you're like, I'm really tired, and someone else is like, I'm so tired too, and you're like, yeah, well, I only slept like 5 hours last night, and they're like, I only slept like 3 hours last night, and then you just go back and forth. Who is that for? It's stupid. If your clothes are too small, just get new ones. It is so fair, but also so much easier said than done. Like, how fucking annoying is it when your size is fluctuating and you have to spend money because of it? Because none of us have any money. The economy and everything, you know what I mean? So, like, yes, in theory, absolutely. Clothes should fit you. You don't have to fit clothes, blah, blah, blah. But money is hard, so do your best. It's not rude to ask questions, and furthermore, it is your responsibility to say no to what you don't want to do, or say yes and then complain. I think my point is, when someone's like, "Oh, can you do this for me?" and you say yes, and then you spend the rest of your day like bitching about that thing to your friends, being like, "I don't want to do this thing," blah blah blah. But it's like, well, you said yes, so why'd you say yes? Like, obviously that doesn't relate in all circumstances, but like, there's times when you could have been like, "Oh no, sorry, I'm busy," or like, "No, I don't want to do that," or whatever. But you say yes, and then you bitch about it. You said yes. It's not their fault for asking the question. You gotta say no. Aside from trauma related things, if you look back on your life, you can see how every small bad thing you went through led to something good. We're not talking about trauma or like big bad. We're talking about little bad, like you quit a job that you shouldn't have, or like you struggled to find an apartment, or like you moved to a city and it was really hard at first. Whatever, whatever. We're talking about stuff like that. We're not talking about the big bad, okay? The less you do, the less you want to do. Maybe this is just a me thing, but I feel like it's relatable. Like the more time you spend not doing anything, the harder it is to motivate yourself to want to do anything. Like I find the busier I am, the more I somehow find time to do fun stuff. And when I'm less busy, I don't do anything fun. You know what I mean? It's not your job to be pretty all the time. Yeah. I used to feel like we all did. This is not none of this is me specific. Feel like it was my job to be pretty and cute and presentable, and I just simply don't have to do that. So, anyways, it's okay to say I don't know enough about that to have an opinion. Talking to you, me, when I was like 22. Like, it's okay to be like I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't know enough. And then you can go look it up and then form an opinion. But you don't have to have an opinion in that moment. You can say I don't have the information. And then find it and then find an opinion. Anyways. It's okay to disagree with people, but it's not okay to make anyone feel stupid. Yes, agreed. Wow, I was clearly going through something because I have another one that says the whole who's the most stress game is not a game I want to play. Stress is not something I seek, nor is it something I want to attract. True, I strive to have a very minimal stress life. Doesn't always work because life is life, but like that's the goal. Aw, we don't have to be somebody to have value. It doesn't matter what you're told. If you're not ready to learn a lesson, you won't. I think that's so fucking accurate. Holy shit. Because when you finally like realize something and you're like, oh my god, that like what the fuck have I been doing? And then you try to like tell that to like a friend or someone younger than you or someone whatever, and they just don't want to hear it or they don't take the advice or whatever, and you feel so frustrated. But then you have to remember that probably a while ago someone said the same thing to you and it just went over your head because it wasn't your time. And that's okay. We all find our time for the things. Good communication can only be learned with time. I don't really know what I meant by that. Some people are just naturally good at communicating, I believe. Maybe they're not. I don't know. There's no need to feel guilty if something no longer serves you. Thank it and move on. I feel like I've said something akin to that in every list I've ever made. Life is about experience, not accomplishment. A lovely lesson I would love to learn one day, but clearly I'm not ready to hear it. The more you know, the less you know. I think that is the fucking truest thing ever. When I was 20, I thought I knew everything, and turns out I knew nothing. And now I know more stuff, but all I know is that there's a lot of stuff I don't know. You know what I mean? Your preconceived notions of who you are holding you back. Again, I think I've said something similar to that in every list. You can change and evolve, and that's great. If someone thanks you or pays you a compliment, don't argue with them. Don't tell them they're wrong. Just say thank you. For lots of reasons, because, like, one, don't assume people are liars. Don't assume, like, just say thank you. Like, believe them. Two, you know how annoying it is when you compliment someone, you're like, oh, I really like your hair, and they're like, oh, I hate my hair, and then you feel like you have to justify your opinion to them, and that's like, why are we doing that? Why do you think I'm dumb? You think I have bad opinions? Why are we fighting about this? Everyone knows less than you think they do. I think this is true and false. In certain aspects, sure. Hobbies don't have an age limit. True. You can do whatever you want. Two things can be true at the same time. Alright, pop off, queen. I already fucking said this earlier, but I wrote it again. People are really the bad guy in their own narrative. Hold space for people to grow when you can. You can't always, but things that are obvious to you might not be obvious to someone else. Okay. It's not cool or helpful to tell someone they shouldn't care about something just because you don't want to hear about it. Okay. Sure. This is one that I'm still working on. Try your best to remove focus from what's happening next to what's happening now. Stuffy. You can listen and respect someone's advice or opinions and then choose not to take it or agree with them. That's true. Take everything with a grain of salt. Maybe not everything, a lot of stuff. Something can be bad for you, but great for someone else, and vice versa. Anyways, that was my list of things that I learned last year. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm here every Friday posting something or other. So stick around if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. See you somewhere else on the internet, maybe. Bye.